Congratulations to Caitlin Clark, the Time Magazine 2024 Athlete of the Year. Is that unexpected? Not really. This girl has been crushing it as far as the celebrity, as far as the notoriety, everything that she has earned from playing basketball coming out of Iowa and then lighting up the WNBA, everything that's done for the game, including the controversy, the interest. They all have to go hand in hand because she has pretty much elevated the WNBA to mainstream status. A lot of people had a problem with that for obvious reasons. And if they're not so obvious, do your own homework. But for what she did coming into the league and the interest she brought into the league is unprecedented. You've never seen this, in my opinion, at least from a female athlete. And I'm trying to think of, has there been anybody to be able to really captivate an audience the way she did this year? Not in recent memory. I can't think of it. Maybe you might have some Olympic athletes, usually like gymnasts in the past, but not since like you had like Mary Lou Retton in the 80s, because back then there was nothing else to focus on. So if you had an Olympic athlete, when Mary Lou Retton did what she did, the world was captivated by her. Wheaties and commercials and all of that type of stuff. And like I said, back then, there was not as much distractions. Now, with social media, everybody got a podcast. There are so many other directions you can go. But Caitlin Clark captured the world with what she was doing on the basketball court. And by her interest, just elevated the whole genre of women's sports, especially the WNBA and women's basketball. For the first time ever, the women's college game outpaced the men in the NCAA as far as viewership. That was all because of what Caitlin Clark did when they played LSU, and her and Angel Reese got together and they had an incredible series and LSU took the title. It just sparked a whole lot of interest that didn't exist. And you had your rivalry, even though it didn't kind of make sense. And she says that in the article. I listened to the whole article. It's about 38 minutes maybe. If you go to time.com, they got a little thing now where it'll, it's got an AI voice and it'll read it to you. So I listened to it and I listened to the whole thing. And the interesting thing was, with the exception of one thing, she touched on the whole relationship with Angel Reese and the controversy and how she feels about that situation and everybody and the media bringing on this rivalry that didn't exist. And the funny part is, I had heard her say that before. So she's not saying anything new. I've heard other people say that before. Everybody heard the "you can't see me" thing. Haley Van Lith told that story. It was like, that was not aimed at anybody. She told the story. So, and I'm saying that because the article, it was a great article, but they didn't really say anything new. Maybe they gave you some tidbits of when she was coming up out of Iowa and what other people said about her and what they thought about her at an early age. But for the most part, her comments, we already knew. She put it out there like that. Nobody just paid attention to it because everybody was trying to build up the controversy. And she said it. How are we going to be a rival? How are me and Angel Reese going to have a rivalry and we don't even guard each other? We don't play the same position. And she said it. She said, I don't know her that well, but we've had a lot of respect. We have respect for each other. That's what athletes do. You see people at the same AAU tournaments or what have you. You see the same people all the time. I don't know them, but we have a mutual respect when we see each other on the court, on the field, whatever the situation is. I don't know you, but I know you. And that makes perfect sense. And she addressed it. And she even talked about everybody creating the controversy that she was not aware of in certain cases because she didn't do a lot of social media stuff. So when everybody was trying to put all the pressure on her to come out and say nothing, she was, she wasn't on social media. And that's the only answer to that type of stuff. You can't feed into it. The only thing you can do is avoid it because it ain't going nowhere. But I thought it was a good article. Congratulations to her, Athlete of the Year. She deserves it. She's put the WNBA on the map, on the mainstream map. And nobody can deny that. And she has just started a domino effect for all of these other young ladies coming out. And now everybody's got interest and trying to see what everybody else is doing. And even now the narrative now is that looking at Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers and Hannah Hidalgo and all of these other people, all these other young women coming out that will be in the W if they so choose in the next few years, nobody's living up to the hype machine that Caitlin Clark had the last 2 years she was at Iowa. And I don't think it's going to be like that. I think Caitlin Clark was a once-in-a-lifetime type athlete. You're going to have some other people that are as good as her on the court. But I'm talking about to bring the eyes to the game. I don't see nobody doing it like that, like she did it. Because I'm trying to think of a female athlete in college that drew interest like she did in basketball. I can't think of any. But it was a great article. I encourage anybody go to time.com and read and listen to the article. Listen to while you cleaning something. It's a pretty good article. But again, there was nothing really new, and she just pretty much co-signed a lot of things that she either already said or we already knew, and it's common sense stuff. So she wasn't like, it wasn't like a groundbreaking story, but it was solid, it was good, and it was good to hear some of her point of view and her perspective on a lot of these issues. So again, congratulations to Caitlin Clark, and can't wait to see you next year with the Indiana Fever.